Ja Morant is a sensational player. Ja Morant has had some interesting stuff go on over the last couple of years, including what happened at the end of the season, him using his hands and making it look like a gun and shooting it up in the air. And the fact that they fired the coach at the end of the season made absolutely no sense. It really put them in a bad situation. It really did. I don't care what anybody says. If the Memphis Grizzlies had their head coach and they didn't fire him at the end of the season, I think this series would have been a little bit closer. And I don't want to hear about Ja Morant figuring out what OKC is and how they play. That's a bunch of crap, okay? I don't want to believe anything that Ja Morant says, and he shouldn't be going out there speaking to the press and throwing himself under the bus. Because what happens to Ja Morant when that happens, things start to get tangled up, and Ja Morant puts himself in a really bad situation. He opens his mouth, and this is what a lot of athletes do over the last couple of years. They open their mouths, and they really put their team in bad situations. Ja Morant's a sensational player. He's one of the best guards in the league. He's acrobatic, fun to watch, but he says and does stupid things. But the Grizzlies had no chance in this series. One of the reasons why, they didn't really have their coach, and this team is just not the same as they were 4 or 5 weeks before the season was over. They started to fall apart, and some people believe that's why they fired their coach, and there was no unity. And it's been a problem for the Grizzlies over the last couple of years. They're a very good team throughout the season, and then the last month of the season, they don't play as well, and then they go into the playoffs, they crawl into the playoffs, no matter how good they are, and Memphis was good this year, like they always are, and they choke. They choke. They choked over the last couple of years. They choked against the Timberwolves a couple of years ago. This has been a big problem for the Grizzlies. They can never pull away in their series. And they didn't even have a chance to pull away because they couldn't even get close in these games. Shai Alexander is amazing. Shai is probably going to win the MVP, not because of this series, because the NBA don't like to give guys like, you know who I'm going at, is Jokic, a chance to win back-to-back MVPs. They're an organization, the LJA, likes to keep the MVP, stagnant. And the NFL does the same thing too. The NFL doesn't want the same quarterback winning the MVP. They would like another quarterback to win and then that quarterback to win. It's always been like that, unless your name is Peyton Manning or unless your name is Brett Favre. And maybe even sometimes Aaron Rodgers. Those are the only guys that have their name called back-to-back years or even have thought, or the organization has thought of making them back-to-back MVP champion. But the NBA obviously is going to give Shea, whatever you want to call him, he is going to be the MVP of the league this year. He did have a great year. I'm not going to take shots. To me, OKC was going to demolish the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies are not very well built. They have some good defense and team defense, but they have not played team defense ever since they fired their coach. They look like they don't want to be out there. And Ja Morant, and I think the Grizzlies in the offseason is going to have to decide, do we want to keep Ja Morant here? Do we want to move him and try to rebuild this team? Because honestly, Ja Morant has done things so many ways off and on the court now. Do you want to keep him there? Could you win with Ja Morant? Or do you decide to move him and try to add some players and draft stock to make this team a little bit better? Because one player is not going to get him over the hump. Jackson, as good as he is, he's not the other guy. He's a good player. He's a third guy or a fourth guy on a team. He is not the number 2 guy, as good as he is defensively. So I think.
But do you think a team would want to take on the extracurriculars?
I would think so. I mean, Ja Morant is a superstar player. He's a good he's got an interesting person. I wouldn't say good, but he's got an interesting personality. And I think he'll draw people. His jersey sales are one of the best in the league right now. I think he's in the top 10. And he will sell tickets because he's acrobatic and fun. I just don't know if you're a fan of another team. How about Dallas? Maybe Dallas making a move like that. You have Kyrie Irving over there. Maybe you decide to do this. Maybe you reach out to Dallas and say, listen, we'll take Kyrie and Anthony Davis, and we'll trade Ja Morant and Jackson to you guys in a draft pick or something of that magnitude and get him out of there.
Without how injury-prone Nico Harrison is, or how Ja Morant is, he is the Nico Harrison model of conditioning.
I mean, just think about it. Kyrie Irving is a guy that is outspoken to the media, and so is Ja Morant. So they like cross each other. They're perfect for one another. Now, Ja Morant's a little bit younger, so maybe you don't have to trade Jackson in a trade. Maybe you trade Kyrie Irving and Anthony Davis, Ja Morant, another player, and some draft picks, and maybe that'll get the job done. But I just don't believe that Ja Morant can continue doing what he is doing over there in Memphis, and that the organization and ownership is going to say, hey, let's keep this guy here. He's going to be the face of our organization moving forward. So it's really shameful what Ja Morant has done on and off the court. And I think, obviously, NBA and the Memphis Grizzlies have to figure out, where does he fit moving forward? He's only 23, 24 years old. He's still very, very young. He just got his second contract, his extension. He's probably going to get another one or maybe even two. Remember, he's a guard. Yeah. If he could stay in shape the way he plays the game, he doesn't hurt his knees. I mean, this guy could be in the league till he's 36, 37, maybe even 38. So he's going to get two other contracts, and he's making hundreds of millions of dollars. So do you want to pay a guy with it's just outspoken, ridiculous, and stupid?